I had always loved gardening. Nothing fancy, just a few flower beds, a small vegetable patch, and a couple of potted plants on my porch. But according to Karen, the self-appointed ruler of our HOA, my yard was an unsightly agricultural disaster. She left a bright red violation notice on my door one morning stating, "Your yard does not comply with HOA regulations. Remove all non-decorative plants immediately or face a $500 fine." $500 for having tomatoes and petunias? I laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But nope. The fine was real, and so was Karen's power trip. Being the reasonable person I am, I decided to talk to her. I knocked on her door, and within seconds, she swung it open, glaring at me like I had just insulted her ancestors. "Can I help you?" she sneered. "Yeah, about this fine," I said, holding up the notice. "Why exactly am I being penalized for having a garden? It's well kept. It's not like I'm growing corn stalks in my front yard." Karen crossed her arms. "The HOA rules clearly state that only approved decorative landscaping is allowed. Vegetables and unapproved plants violate the neighborhood aesthetic." I pointed to her yard. "You have a rose garden." "That's different. Roses are elegant. But a tomato plant is a crime?" She smirked. "Rules are rules." Then, just to make sure I was extra annoyed, she added, "And I'll be checking your yard every day. If you don't remove them, the fine will double." Now, I could have complied. I could have pulled up my plants and let Karen win. But where's the fun in that? I had a better idea. If Karen thought my little vegetable patch was an agricultural disaster, she was about to have a full-blown meltdown. I wasn't just going to keep my garden. I was going to expand it. I went all out. I planted twice as many vegetables. Not just tomatoes and cucumbers, but squash, zucchini, eggplants, and even some corn stalks just to be petty. But that was just the beginning. I made a trip to the local nursery and picked up massive ferns that would make my yard look like a rainforest, vines that I let climb up trellises and fences, tall sunflowers that reached over 7 feet high, and my personal favorite, a banana tree. I even threw in some exotic flowers for color. By the time I was done, my yard looked like a botanical wonderland. The neighborhood kids loved it. They called it the secret garden and begged their parents to do the same to their yards. But Karen? Oh, she was about to lose it. The very next morning, I was enjoying my coffee on my jungle-themed porch when I saw Karen marching up my driveway, HOA rulebook in hand. Her face was red. Her eye was twitching. I casually took a sip. "Morning, Karen. Lovely day, isn't it?" "What the hell is this?" she shrieked, waving her arms at my yard like she had just seen a crime scene. I set down my mug. "Oh, this? It's my new landscaping project. You did say plants need to be decorative. Well, aren't these gorgeous?" She stomped her foot. "This is not decorative. This is a," she sputtered, searching for the right words. "This is a jungle." I nodded proudly. "Glad you noticed. Took me all weekend." She shoved a new fine into my hand. $1,000 for unauthorized landscaping. "Either you remove all of it," she snapped, "or I'll have the HOA hire landscapers to do it for you. And guess who will get the bill?" I smiled. "Try it, Karen." Because she had no idea what I was planning next. If Karen thought my garden turned jungle was bad, she had no clue what was coming next. The moment she stormed off after handing me that $1,000 fine, I knew what I had to do. I doubled down. This wasn't just about a garden anymore. This was war. I made a few calls and got some special deliveries. First, I ordered more tropical plants, bigger ones. I'm talking palm trees, bamboo shoots, and an actual fig tree. My front yard wasn't just lush, it was becoming a full-fledged rainforest. Then, I installed a koi pond. Because why not? A jungle needs water. I even added a little waterfall feature for extra effect. But the best part? I brought in sound effects. That's right. I installed hidden outdoor speakers that played the sounds of a tropical rainforest birds chirping, monkeys howling, distant thunder. I even threw in some occasional lion roars, just for fun. Karen was about to lose her mind. 2 days later, I got a notice in the mail. Urgent. HOA meeting regarding your property mandatory attendance. Oh, this was going to be good. I showed up to the meeting dressed in full safari gear khaki vest, boots, even a fake explorer's hat. Karen was at the front of the room, her face redder than ever. She cleared her throat and glared at me. This meeting has been called to discuss the situation at Mr. S. residence. The room buzzed with whispers. Some of the other homeowners loved my jungle. A few even admitted they were inspired to add more greenery to their own yards. Karen, of course, was fuming. Your yard is a violation of every HOA rule we have, she snapped. You have palm trees, a pond. And she flipped through her notes in frustration. We've received several complaints about monkeys. I couldn't hold back my grin. Oh, you heard them? That's just my new outdoor sound system. Gives it that authentic jungle feel. Someone in the back chuckled. Even some of the HOA board members smirked. Karen, however, was not amused. She slammed her fist on the table. This is not a joke. If you don't return your yard to regulation standards, we will take legal action. I leaned back in my chair. Go ahead. Because what Karen didn't know was that I had already checked the HOA bylaws. Nowhere did it say anything about a limit on plants, koi ponds, or excessive greenery. In fact, the only landscaping rule was that yards had to be maintained and visually appealing. And judging by the support I was getting, my yard was a hit. Karen's eye twitched. She knew she was losing. But she wasn't done yet. She had one last move up her sleeve. And when I found out what it was, oh, I made sure it backfired spectacularly. Karen had failed to intimidate me at the HOA meeting. But did she accept defeat? Of course not. No, Karen did what every power-hungry HOA tyrant does when they're losing a fight. She cheated. A week after the meeting, I woke up to the sound of chainsaws. I ran outside and saw a group of landscapers tearing into my beloved jungle. My palm trees were getting cut down, my vines were ripped away, and my koi pond? Drained. And there, standing like a victorious war general, was Karen. What the hell is going on? I shouted. Karen smirked. The HOA board voted to remove your unsightly mess. You refused to comply, so we took matters into our own hands. I stormed toward her. This is illegal. You can't just destroy my property. She shrugged. You'll receive a bill for the cleanup. Have a nice day. Then she turned and walked away, smug as ever. That's when I knew this wasn't over. Karen wanted a war? She was about to get one. She thought she had one. She had no idea what was coming. I had video footage of everything from the moment the landscapers arrived to Karen's little victory speech. My doorbell camera, my security cams, even my neighbor's phone, they caught everything. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I lawyered up. Within 48 hours, Karen and the HOA board received legal notices. Trespassing. Destruction of private property. Vandalism. Harassment. Oh, and did I mention? My jungle wasn't just some random project. It was officially classified as a certified wildlife habitat. Yep, I had registered it with the National Wildlife Federation. Which meant Karen had just destroyed a protected green space. By the end of the week, the HOA was in full meltdown mode. And Karen? She was about to suffer the biggest humiliation of her life. The next HOA meeting was packed. Karen sat at the front, looking smug, until my lawyer walked in. He handed the board a fat stack of legal documents. The board members looked terrified. My lawyer cleared his throat. Mr. is prepared to take legal action unless the following conditions are met immediately. Silence. 1. Full reimbursement for all damages to his property. Karen's jaw dropped. 2. An official apology from the HOA, signed by every board member. Someone in the crowd snickered. 3. The immediate resignation of Karen as HOA president. The room erupted. Karen shot up from her seat. This is ridiculous. I was just enforcing the rules. My lawyer smirked. Then you can explain that to a judge. And the city's environmental agency. They're also very interested in your unauthorized destruction of a registered wildlife habitat. Karen went pale. The HOA board knew they had no choice. By the end of the night, Karen had been removed as president. My yard was declared fully compliant, and the HOA agreed to pay for every single plant, tree, and koi pond they destroyed. But I wasn't done. Oh no. I had one last surprise for Karen. And when I revealed it, she completely lost it. Karen had been removed as HOA president. She had lost the legal battle. The HOA had been forced to pay for all the damages to my jungle. But I wasn't done yet. Not even close. Because Karen's biggest weakness? Her reputation. She prided herself on being the queen of the neighborhood. She loved bossing people around and pretending she was superior. So what better way to destroy her than to expose her to the entire community? Oh, and trust me, I made sure everyone saw it. First, I sent a mass email to every homeowner in the neighborhood. Attached were the security footage of Karen illegally hiring landscapers to destroy my yard. Screenshots of the legal notice showing her violations. The official wildlife certification proving she had destroyed a protected green space. And the HOA's forced apology, admitting that Karen had abused her power. Then, I posted everything online in the local Facebook groups, the Nextdoor app, and even the city's community board. It spread like wildfire. Within 24 hours, everyone in the neighborhood knew exactly what Karen had done. And the best part? She had no escape. The next morning, Karen tried to go on her usual morning walk. Big mistake. Everywhere she went, people glared at her. Neighbors whispered and pointed. One guy even started slow clapping when she passed by. Nice work, Karen. Destroying wildlife and stealing from your own HOA. Real classy. A group of moms snickered loudly. Guess we know who the real menace is. I can't believe we let her run this neighborhood for so long. How embarrassing. Karen's face turned bright red. She rushed home, slamming her door shut. But the humiliation? It didn't stop. Remember how Karen loved to report people to the city for violations? Well, guess who got a surprise visit from the city inspectors? Yep, Karen's house. See, while digging into HOA rules, I also took a look at her property records. And, oh boy, did I find some juicy violations. Turns out, Karen had an illegally extended patio that violated zoning laws, a backyard shed that wasn't permitted, and a non-compliant fence that broke HOA regulations. All those petty fines she had given me came right back to bite her. Within a week, she was slapped with thousands of dollars in fines. And the best part? She had to tear down her illegal patio and fence at her own expense. Karen was utterly ruined. With Karen out of the way, the HOA relaxed its landscaping rules. More and more neighbors started planting gardens of their own. By the end of the year, our neighborhood had transformed into a lush, green paradise filled with flowers, vegetable patches, and even a few new koi ponds. As for Karen, she sold her house and moved. She just couldn't handle being the most hated person in the neighborhood. And me? I enjoyed my jungle, my koi pond, and the sweet, sweet taste of victory. Because in the end, the HOA tyrant was defeated and nature won. Like and subscribe for more videos like this.